a bunch of free stuff, debates and conversations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
What did they bring up? It's a Trinity.
Oh, the Trinity is
The ontological Trinity. Yeah. The
So
ontological Trinity. There's one being, God, who exists in three co-equal, co-eternal persons, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Therefore, the ultimate grounding of all reality, therefore, will have reflected in his creation unity and diversity. We can speak of humanity as a unity, as sharing the same ontos, human nature, which is a unifying concept, human nature, yet we are each distinct humans. The one of the many is answered. Now, either physical monism will deny diversity. They might want to assert diversity, but really, all really is just a physical. We can have this little, category distinction between raining on rocks and then a person saying, the concept, I am hungry, the statement, the concept, okay? Because that hungry just ain't, determined by them and just saying, oh, I'm going to use this word. This is only applicable to me. No, other people experience hunger too. Hunger is a unifying concept. A lot of people experience, regarding human nature, we experience hunger. Finite beings. We're going to be perished, and we're going to be desiring food. So we share that in common. But that's a concept. Hunger is a concept. If you want to say hunger is just merely the physical constraints of the physical stomach,
right, I would say it's a
diluted. But how can, if it's only related to that one person, how can it have application among other people?
Because other people also have the same
at all times
signal.
in all places, right? If there's a human and he's hungry, it's a concept. But you can't account for this transcendence from a non-Christian worldview.
Well, I mean, I would explain that as hunger is the same biochemical signal across people.
It's not the same. It can't be identical because we don't have the same stomach. We don't have the same brain chemistry. We don't have the identical brain. No, everyone's identical.
It might not be the exact same hunger in the exact same way, but people experience what we would call hunger, and it's the same it's the same chemical reaction or the same chemical signal, and whether it varies in intensity or whatever, it would be different among people. There's variation there.
Yeah, even one person would be, slightly malnourished and go, I'm starving, I'm really hungry, and another person it just has the physical ability to fast all day, and they're not hungry until well later. Then they're really hungry. So,
well, I think
that's how we account for the one, the many issue. There's just no other worldview. Either you're going to go to the many issue and reject universals, which you have to do on a physicalist thing, because all you have in physicalism is materialistic particulars. There's no unifying concept.
Why would I need to reject something universal like hunger?
You have to account for transcendence. If you at least the concept of it, the rationalization that a person can make the statement, and that we call rationality, like a logical statement, rational. I am hungry. Person's a person. They are hungry. They're suffering physical condition. You got to account for. Once again, you're not a dualist, so how is there any differentiation between the chemicals and the person stating that or even thinking that? It's all chemical. The thought, what the statement you want to say was generated from the chemicals, but you want to call it a thought. But the thought is just chemicals. It is just chemicals. You want to say a thought is different than chemicals, and you got to delineate what that difference is ontologically. If you're making them parallel, then you're showing it has the same substance.
I wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't see that as a problem, because
you wouldn't say what?
I wouldn't say that a thought is different from the chemicals which created the thought.
You wouldn't say that? Then that's consistent with your physicalism. But then once again, you're in the strict monism. You have to reject. Once again, that goes against physicalism as a philosophy, because you want to say ontologically they're all physical, but the unifying nature of it is just chemical. But all you have is materialistic particulars. The bridge or the gap you'd have to bridge there would have to be, how's there any coherence between person? Once again, you got to account for coherence here. You just assumed it
You
in
mean
your answer.
your hunger and my
You just
hunger?
said, yeah. How's there any correlation in how you? Once again, we use these terms so flippantly that's why I want to stop and point you out to say you're taking this term for granted because you haven't accounted for how you can correlate, how the correlation even makes sense, and you can do it. I assume we both grant you can do it. The thing is accounting for it. How's there anything? It's not. Once again, there's so many leaps and gaps you've gone over here of just like this non-cognizant matter became cognizant. It can do this stuff and can do a whole host of these things just by a miraculous flick of the switch. And then you use these terms. And when I ask you, how do you count for coherence? It's going to ultimately go back to how you got the flip switched on. And you just go, well, the non-intelligent thing just spawned. I use the term flippantly here, just spawned intelligence, and you just went from this to that. And when I ask you epistemically, if you're epistemically cogent and consistent, then you got to give me an empirical answer, not
May I speak?
well, once it meets the conditions to get it to this, then it meets that, and then that's just a 5-year-old can do that, but that's not substantial.
Okay.
I mean, it's just saying, once you get to the thing I imagine it did, then it did its thing.
Okay.
That's all.
So I would account for hunger across people in that people are so similar that they can express and share these kinds of things among themselves, and so they might not exactly translate when you say I'm hungry to somebody who's in Ethiopia who feels hunger, or some kind of person who is I don't know, as far and distant as they could be. But I would still say that the the electrochemical signals and the material is already so similar that it doesn't become some kind of exercise in futility or some kind of thing which isn't explainable, or some concept which isn't.
Yeah, I'm not doubting your thing. It's just this is to be a problem in philosophy of just saying, well, that's a nice assertion, but you'd have to prove that empirically. We had to go, well, let me wait till I find this person and then demonstrate it, because you just can't make assertion without demonstration, right?
Well, I could demonstrate that we're all close enough to be, biochemically, that we can convey these concepts from one another.
You've tested every single human being, or you haven't
Well,
done that yet?
you don't need to have some absolutist claim to make a general claim. You don't have to assert that there is no exception to make a rule, right?
It's kind of universal, ain't it? You just made a universal claim. Did you not make a universal claim? Or, I mean, you just go, well, it's universal. It's not universal, but it's general. I mean, okay, just self-reflect
Well,
upon that
I'm
again.
saying that if it weren't universal, it would be so similar to universal that
You're
you could
assuming
use it
universality,
interchangeably.
but that's the very thing in question. You're begging the question again. I said, how do you get universals in a world that's only has materialistic particulars? You go, well, we start with universals, then we go down to particulars. That's complete 180 from what your worldview is.
Yeah, I could, like I said, I could show you that humans across cultures and across societies have
Well, that's a theory you
extremely
have that you
similar
need to prove, but
biochemical
you haven't.
compositions.
Have
Well,
you
do you
empirically
think that
proven that?
do you think that that's something that you would want to contest?
I'm not. I'm saying I'm not debating the rationality of it. Yes, you can have a theory and you provide
Well,
evidence, stuff like that. But when you make a universal claim, then you need to back up the universal claim. Once again, it's like you.
I mean, I could just put the qualifier generally, and it would change
Yeah,
this.
if you did this,
convey the
then
same
you would prove
content.
it. You would prove it universally. You would prove it, but have you proven it universally? No, you theorized it universally because you already got presuppositions. Once again, from a physical standpoint, I have no argument. Yes, people experience human hunger because man is created as a mortal being, okay, and he has needs for physical nourishment. Yes, and I believe that everyone is created in the image of God, and God's created man in his image, and he created him as a physical being and also a spiritual aspect to his being. Okay, he is a physical construct, but he's also